My name is Reverend Paul Slack, and I pastor New Creation Church in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota. I'm also a leader in Isaiah, which is a network of 100 congregations in the Twin Cities metro area and also in St. Cloud. With Isaiah, I've been leading a campaign with the Minnesota Department of Transportation. And what we've been asking the Minnesota Department of Transportation to do is to make fair and just investments for jobs and for transportation in low-income communities and communities of color. We've discovered that there's been a disinvestment in those communities, and actually federal dollars, federal legislation allows for states to make an investment for workforce development and also to make investments in transportation. It strongly recommends that states make those investments because they understand just how critical that is for building healthy communities in and across every state. I've been working with Minnesota Department of Transportation for over 4 years, and in the last 9 months we were able to convince them to form a stakeholders group. This stakeholders group consisted of contractors, prime contractors, and disadvantaged business enterprise contractors, which include women-owned and minority-owned construction companies. It's also had unions at the table, apprentice organizations at the tables, training organizations, other community persons who had an interest, stakeholders throughout this state. And unfortunately, that stakeholders group was stopped abruptly, put on hold, in essence, during the height of the construction season. One of the things that we want, several other things rather, that we want Minnesota Department of Transportation to do is, one, have transparent processes, that it is communicating what has actually happened, what are actually the results of investment dollars. You know, how many people have they actually put to work, and also how many work hours those people are actually working on each and every project, to show clearly whether or not they've reached their goals, whether their processes are working toward their intended purposes or not. We want them also to hold construction companies accountable for the goals that are set. Unfortunately, one of the things that is happening right now is there's an undue focus on good faith. As long as a construction company makes good faith efforts, then that construction company is in compliance. We want to focus on accountability for outcomes. That's what the processes are there for, to produce just and fair outcomes for every community, and we want that to be the place of the focus, so that whenever there are corrective actions, those corrective actions can focus on producing the right outcomes. We don't want to just focus on penalizing those construction companies that are doing a good job. We want them to be rewarded for that. There's been proof that that efforts can have the right kind of results. One good example of that is what happened on the 35W bridge rebuild. There were good results from the company that had that project. We think that that same thing can be repeated throughout our state. We believe it's necessary that the public is involved in all of the decisions that are made at the Minnesota Department of Transportation, so that there can be a real clear understanding, there can be buy-in from everybody, and that together we can work toward producing the kind of results that every community needs, that there can be fair and just investment in every community, so that everybody will have an opportunity and access, real access, to the jobs that are provided and to the transportation system that should work for all of the people who live in this great state that we call Minnesota. We believe that we can do that. We believe that together we can accomplish these goals, but only together can we accomplish them, and only by focusing on the outcomes that we need and producing real transparency in actually what is happening in all of these investments throughout our state.